Hi everyone, we're back with another Luminosity Talks. Today we're going to be talking about everything Valorant. With Valorant being such a new game, let's go around and introduce ourselves and explain our roles within the team. So, I'm Mac and I'm the coach for Luminosity, of course.
I'm a Proto, I'm the Sentinel for Luminosity.
Crap, why is the spike carry that's down? He's got to find a way to get these kills and get the spike planted, but Crouchies is still contesting. Proto by himself. Does he have enough time to plan? He sure will not anymore. It's just down to the kills! And Proto, how has he managed to do that?
Trying to anchor on his own right now with only a pistol. And here comes the flash. And okay, just a sheriff is good enough. And I think he was blinded. He gets the third kill. And now he gets paranoia. The trip kill. He gets the fourth one looking for the 8.
I'm Moose and I play Sova.
Moose? He could find 2. Oh no. Oh no. He's gonna take the shots. He gets it. Nitro very low as well. All of a sudden, back to stealing. He go. Moose with the big flank. A risk with the spike, but it works out.
Now 2 players remain for LG. Make it 1, Moose. All down to Moose. And the blast! Right over. Moose! Moose with 2 more. 3 on the round. Now a 1v1. Sova v Sova, the man in the mirror. Recon bolt over. Don't know what Hiko's working with. The spray, the swing, the clutch! Moose!
What made you want to go pro in, like, I would say Valorant, but we all came from CS, so what made you want to go pro in, like, CS, I guess? Like, when did you realize it would actually be a possibility and that you were good enough at the game to do so?
I was pretty decent at them at the start when I played COD, and then I came to PC, I played Counter-Strike. I got into semi-pro in that game, and I jumped to Valorant early to see if I could make a name for myself in that game, and
Yeah.
it kind of worked out.
CS, I kind of just played, and then just for fun, and then I eventually got noticed, and after my first season of Premier, I'd say, like, I started really trying to go pro, and that's when, like, I thought it was a possibility in CS, and obviously in Valorant, I just wanted to continue my career as a pro gamer, but in a different game, like, new start. And so yeah, that's why I wanted to go pro in Valorant.
If you guys could give one piece of advice to someone looking to go pro in Valorant, what would it be?
Don't be a jerk. I feel like a lot of people burn their own bridges, you know, really early by having a bad attitude, being way too cocky, just a bunch of things. Like, this being on teams and getting on the new teams is all about who you know.
Yeah.
And if you burn a lot of bridges, then you're cut down to very few options.
Yeah, and even if you don't like that person, there's, like, no reason to publicize it, especially when you're on the come up as a player. Caleb, you got any advice for someone looking to go pro in Valorant?
Yeah, don't ever switch your mouse or sensitivity.
Yeah, that's a good one. I have a few friends who struggle with that. Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, it'd be just to not get demotivated and keep grinding and just give it 110% effort, obviously. But yeah, like, competing is really demotivating, so not letting yourself get demotivated over a loss or just, like, over getting owned in pugs, just you gotta keep going. It's kind of a game of mental and resiliency for at least going pro, so that would be my advice. But what's the hardest thing about being a professional Valorant player?
Playing Valorant every day.
That's
a good answer.
That is a good answer.
I don't know. I don't know if this is exactly for Valorant, but it's probably for pros in general of every game, that people on the outside will talk like they know what's going on, and a lot of times they don't. And they can say hurtful things, they can say things that just don't make sense, and you kind of have to you know, have like an iron skin when it comes to that, so it doesn't so it doesn't do anything to you. But sometimes it gets to a person, you know.
I think, like, avoiding burnout is, like, the hardest thing, honestly. Like, sitting there and playing, like, you're supposed to be playing 8 to 10 hours a day, and it's so easy to get burnt out, especially when you have longer practice days. So I think avoiding burnout, or how you manage your burnouts, is probably the hardest thing as a professional Valorant player, because if you just stop playing, you're gonna fall behind the rest of the pack or the rest of the people or the rest of the pros that are putting in more time than you. So there's a very finite amount of players that can play like minimal amount of time outside of practice and still play at their best. Very finite. List some things that you guys like or dislike about the game. What problems do you hope change in Valorant? I know you want to change Jet being in the game, Alex.
I hate Jet a lot. I don't know. I could complain, but I also can't complain because the game is very fun. I enjoyed it a lot, and there's not much that pisses me off. It's mainly just the people sometimes in ranked. That's it.
Yeah.
The game itself, I like. I think maybe I think a better ranking system would be good. Like one more like league where the ranks actually matter, because there's a lot of people in this game that have ranks that should not have the ranks they do, and I think it's a lot easier to rank up in this game than it is in like league.
Yeah, I really feel like, I don't know, anyone who's pro in a title would have like tons and tons of things to talk about what they like and dislike, but I think Valorant does a really good job at keeping the problems it has minimal. Like I feel like besides agents, the biggest problem to me is like running gunning, or like just how overtuned every gun is, or like, yeah, just those things, for example, to me are like the biggest problems. Like before it was Astra, but they fixed it, but they're pretty good about fixing the issues in the game. I think the ranking system could be better, but I think it's as good as one we see in like League or something. I think it's like 20 times better than CS. But yeah, I think the game's really fun, and that's something that wasn't like, or that it wasn't like in CS, where I can play 10 hours of Valorant and want to play more. Granted, I don't compete, but in CS, I would get so burnt after playing like 4 or 5 hours.
I think that there should be a spray pattern that's consistent.
Yeah, actually.
And
I could like that.
then I will be happy.
I really don't understand like the point of not having one. To be honest, it doesn't make any sense to me. I guess it's to make gunplay more fair for everyone, but at a top level it like seems pointless. But if you could get rid of one agent, which would it be and why? I'll let Alex start.
Jet.
Why?
Something about it just bugs me every
Why?
time I die.
Okay, that's fair.
I don't know. You know, I don't even want to say that because Jet is such an OP character, but is such a skillful character that I feel like at the very top, the people that are good with Jet are not good at it because the character's strong. They're good at it because they're also extremely good on it. So it's really only annoying to play against if you play against a good Jet. If you play against a bad Jet, there's really no problem.
I don't know. Sova?
It's a hard one.
So I can play something new.
Honestly, really feel like Astra. I don't like Astra. I think the game would just maybe be in a better spot without her, to be honest. Like, or maybe another controller character that isn't as OP. If you have a good Astra, she's just way too strong. Like, there's just no point in running Omen, almost.
It just doesn't make sense because an Astra just, I don't know, she throws smokes better than Omen does. She's got a stun and a suck, and
she's got post plant util, she's got side exec hit, she's got smoke, she's got the ability to throw any PC util from anywhere on the map.
And then you've got Omen, who is smokes have to travel, so if you're trying to hit a bomb site, you have to wait for them to move to hit the areas. Yeah. He's got like the truck flash, the Omen flash, which is really good. You can't throw two
smokes at once either.
Yeah, and then he's got his Omen flash, which is like his best util, and then that's pretty much it. And then Brim is like, you got 3 smokes that you can drop really quickly, and like a pretty strong molly, but you have
Brim's
to be within range with Brim to throw it.
Right now.
And then, I mean, Omen is too. They both, just compared to an Astra, are still not as useful.
I feel like, I mean, Brim is still viable on some maps. I think like Bind for sure, maybe Split.
I think every character's viable. It's just some characters are
to an extent, yeah. I mean, well, every character's viable, but others are stronger. Like Brim is like really only feels viable, or you like better used than like Astra, I guess, on like Bind and maybe Split, depending on like what your strats are. But like yeah, for the most part, like, unless you have a bad Astra, there's no reason to run Omen. And Brim is just kind of the other guy that's there that like you only run if like you want to run post plant lineups. Speaking of that, are there any agent nerfs or buffs you think are necessary or that you would just like to see? Just quickly talking about Brimstone, I think Brimstone getting a buff would be really, really nice. Having his iPad smokes at a longer radius range, maybe replacing his stim beacon for another ability, I think would be really, really good.
Could give him
If
2
you guys-
mollies.
Yeah, I mean, that might
That would be pretty OP.
yeah, it might
but
be a little strong. But I think other than that, for Jet, I think nerfing Jet and making it so she can only dash where she's pointing at would be really, really good. But those are like the only agent nerfs I can think of at the top of my head.
I actually do. I think Yoru needs more of a buff still. I think he's a duelist that, if he had like another buff that was pretty small, but a buff nonetheless.
If he just
I
had
think-
like a better ability, he would be really good than his footsteps, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe change his TP or something. I don't know. Because
I-
I think his flashes are really, really good, to be honest.
I just think he's really fun to play, and except on most maps, there's no reason to run him over any other duelist.
Yeah.
Which is rough.
I think Cypher cam tag should be
Oh yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
Sova outline. Not that yellow fade, that yellow stuff.
Yeah.
And I think jet knives. If you don't hit a headshot, I think you shouldn't get full knives back. You should get like 3 back or 2 back or something. But you should only get all of them if you hit a headshot, in my opinion.
I like that.
What are some things you feel like you need to work on individually to make yourself a better player?
Shooting the enemy players faster
That's-
than they shoot me.
That's a good start. I like that one, Caleb.
Yeah, I think if I can do that consistently, then I will be consistently better.
How will you lose? If you just shoot them before they shoot you. It's impossible.
That's what I'm thinking.
I think sometimes I don't look back on myself like retrospectively.
Look back at situations
Yeah,
retrospectively, think of
and-
what you could have done better.
Yeah, I don't think I do that enough. Because normally in the moment, if I mess up, I'm like, oh fuck, I know what I did wrong. But I think there's always something to gain from going back and rewatching or recording your own demos and things like that, and just seeing like what you could have done better in those scenarios, not just that you messed up. And I don't think that's something I do nearly enough.
How long do you see yourself playing the game for?
As long as the game is fun. And
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Never know with Valorant.
You
Never know what kind of mood it's gonna put me in.
I think as long as it's always fun for me. I don't see the point in playing a game, even if it's like, I mean, it's like your job too, but if the game ever stops being like fun for you and you're forced to play it every day, like you don't want to be here, you don't want to be doing that, I think it makes you play worse, and I think it makes you not put in, I don't know, the care that you want to put in. And
For sure.
like I mean, I hit that personally in Counter-Strike and towards the end of my time in it, and I don't ever want to feel that again, because
Yeah.
it's like the game you love playing, the game you been spending all this time on, just
Playing it as a job or a chore at that point.
yeah. But Valorant is extremely fun to play, and I like it. I love it in the competitive, the like professional environment, like when you're playing attorneys, when you're practicing. I love that.
A
aspect of
love-hate
it.
relationship with Valorant at all times.
Decent relationship.
It is.
It's just love-hate, bro.
Which is also another reason why I feel like if they made the ranking system better and harder and more competitive, I'd find
You'd
that more
finally be able
fun
to get
too.
Radiant?
I can
Oh,
get Radiant.
My bad. My bad, I thought you were just gonna say something else.
Well, no. But, I don't know, the competitive environment, like the ranking system isn't fun at all. That's the chore of playing the game, is that.
Closing statements. If you were speaking to a Riot Games employee right now and they would fix/do only one thing that you requested, what would you say to him or her? One thing. They auto patch it, auto buff it, auto nerf it, remove it.
Oh,
This is
okay.
actually hard for me because there's 2 things I really want.
What are they both? I'm actually interested.
One is the consistent spray, and 2 is the Riot gun buddy.
I thought you already had the gun buddy.
No, bro, I don't have it.
What?
So like I gotta choose. I think I'm going with the spray.
I gotta be greedy here and say buff Cypher, right? I feel like everybody wants their character to get buffed again.
Who's everybody?
Everybody's everybody. If you could have your character be buffed more, the one
Oh,
you play the
your
most-
own character. I thought you said
Yeah.
everybody wants that character buffed again.
No.
I was like, no.
I think making gunplay more rewarding the skill rather than, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but like rather than being so easy to get away with, like this moving and shooting, like the counter strafing could be fixed. I think the spraying should have a pattern. I think fixing like gunplay and making it less noob friendly would be mine. I think that would elevate the game, to be honest. But yeah, thank you for everyone for tuning into another Luminosity Talks. Please make sure to subscribe to stay up to date with all of our content, and like this video if you enjoyed our conversation. There's more Valorant content on its way. Peace.
Later.